All right, we are at Numbers chapter 13 and 14. And this is going to be an interesting, maybe a little bit long kind of read. In chapter 13, Moses finally sends out some guys to scout out the area to see, are we going to be okay? Do we need to protect ourselves? Do we need to attack? And they're going to come back with a odd report. A part of that report is something that is one of the most debated topics about history in the Bible, confusion that takes place that we'll explain the best that we can. And then we find in chapter 14 where the people aren't happy again and Moses has to deal with them. So let's just jump into it in chapter 13. The Lord said to Moses, choose a leader from each tribe and send them into Canaan to explore the land I am giving you. So Moses sent 12 tribal leaders from Israel's camp in the Paran desert with orders to explore the land of Canaan. And here are their names: Shemua, son of Zakur from Reuben, Shaphat, son of Hori from Simeon, Caleb, son of Jephunneh from Judah, Igal, son of Joseph from Issachar, Joshua, son of Nun from Ephraim, Palti, son of Raphu from Benjamin, Gadil, son of Sodi from Zebulun, Gadi, son of Susi from Manasseh, Amiel, son of Gemali from Dan, Sether, son of Michael from Asher, Nabi, son of Zboshi from Naphtali, and Guel, son of Maki from Gad. Before Moses sent them into Canaan, he said, after you go through the southern desert of Canaan, continue north into the hill country and find out what those regions are like. Be sure to remember how many people live there, how strong they are, and if they live in open towns or walled cities. See if the land is good for growing crops and find out what kind of trees grow there. It's time for grapes to ripen, so try to bring back some of the fruit that grows there. The 12 men left to explore Canaan from the Zin Desert in the south all the way to the town of Rehob near Lebo Hamath in the north. As they went through the southern desert, they came to the town of Hebron, which was 7 years older than the Egyptian town of Zoan. In Hebron, they saw the 3 Anakim clans of Ahiman, Sheshai, and Talmai. When they got to Bunch Valley, they cut off a branch with such a huge bunch of grapes that it took 2 men to carry it on a pole. That's why the place was called Bunch Valley. Along with the grapes, they also took back pomegranates and figs. So let me show you where we're at during this time. Are there and what's going on. And so they're going to come back with this report. So let's check out what the report is. After exploring the land of Canaan for 40 days, the 12 men returned to Kadesh in Paran Desert and told Moses, Aaron, and the people what they had seen. They showed them the fruit and said, look at this fruit. The land we explored is rich with milk and honey, but the people who live there are strong and their cities are large and they're walled. We even saw the 3 Anakim clans. Besides that, the Amalekites live in the desert, southern desert. The Hittites, the Jebusites, and the Amorites are in the hill country, and the Canaanites live along the Mediterranean Sea and the Jordan River. Caleb calmed down the crowd and said, "Let's just do it. Let's go and take the land. I know we can do it." But the other men replied, "Those people are much too strong for us." Then they started spreading rumors and saying, we won't be able to grow anything in that soil. And the people are like giants. In fact, we saw the Nephilim, who are ancestors of the Anakim, that are so big that we felt as small as grasshoppers. Now I'm circling Nephilim because that is the key question of the day that's been debated for centuries that we'll come back to when we are done. In chapter 14, after the Israelites heard the report from the 12 men who had explored Canaan, the people cried all night. And they complained to Moses and Aaron, "We wish we had died in Egypt or somewhere up there in the desert. Is the Lord leading us into Canaan just to have us killed and our women and children captured? We'd be better off in Egypt." Then they said to one another, "Let's choose our own leader and go back." Moses and Aaron bowed down to pray in front of the crowd. Joshua and Caleb, they tore their clothes in sorrow and said, "We saw the land ourselves, and it's very good. If we obey the Lord, he will surely give us that land, rich with milk and honey. So don't rebel. We have no reason to be afraid of the people who live there. The Lord's on our side, and they won't stand a chance against us." The crowd threatened to stone Moses and Aaron to death. But just then the Lord appeared in a cloud at the sacred tent. The Lord said to Moses, "I have done great things for these people. They still reject me by refusing to believe in my power. So they will no longer be my people. I will destroy them, but I will make you the ancestor of a nation even stronger than theirs." Moses replied, "With your mighty power, you rescued your people from Egypt. So please don't destroy us here in the desert. If you do, the Egyptians will hear about it and tell the people of Canaan. And those Canaanites already know that we are your people and that we see you face to face. And they have heard how you lead us with a thick cloud during the day and flaming fire at night. But if you kill us, they will claim it was because you weren't powerful enough to lead us into Canaan as you promised. Show us your great power, Lord, you promised. You promised that you love to show mercy and kindness, and you said that you are very patient, but that you will punish everyone guilty of doing wrong, not only them, but their children and their grandchildren as well. You are merciful, and you treat people better than they deserve. So please forgive these people, just as you have forgiven them ever since they left Egypt." Then the Lord said to Moses, "In answer to your prayer, I do forgive them. But as surely as I live and my power has no limit, I swear that not one of these Israelites will enter the land I promised to give their ancestors. These people have seen my power in Egypt and in the desert, but they will never see Canaan. They have disobeyed and tested me too many times. But my servant Caleb isn't like the others. So because he has faith in me, I will allow him to cross into Canaan, and his descendants will settle there. Now listen, Moses, the Amalekites and the Canaanites live in the valleys of Canaan. And tomorrow morning, you'll need to turn around and head back into the desert toward the Red Sea." It's going to take, we're going to keep reading, but it's going to take, because of their actions, because they refuse to follow God, they are going to be out here in this desert for 40 years. Everybody's going to die in between them before they cross over. The Lord told Moses and Aaron to give this message to the people of Israel. "You sinful people have complained against me too many times. Now I swear by my own life that I will give you exactly what you wanted. You will die right here in the desert, and your dead bodies will cover the ground. You have insulted me, and none of you men who are over 20 years old will enter the land that I solemnly promised to give you as your own. Only Caleb and Joshua will go in. You were worried that your own children would be captured, but I, the Lord, will let them enter the land you have rejected. You will die here in the desert. Your children will wander around in this desert 40 years, suffering because of your sins until all of you are dead. I will cruelly punish you every day for the next 40 years, 1 year for each day that the land was explored. You sinful people who ganged up against me will die here in the desert." 10 of the men went to explore the land, had brought back bad luck, and had made the people complain against the Lord. So he sent a deadly disease that killed those men, but he let Joshua and Caleb live. The people of Israel were very sad after Moses gave them the Lord's message. So they got up early the next morning and got ready to head toward the hill country of Canaan. They said, "We were wrong to complain about the Lord. Let's go into the land that he has promised us." And Moses replied, "You're disobeying the Lord. Your plan's not going to work. You don't even, so don't even try it. The Lord refuses to help you because you turned your backs on him. The Amalekites and the Canaanites are your enemies, and they will attack and defeat you." But the Israelites ignored Moses and marched toward the hill country, even though the sacred chest and Moses did not go with them. The Amalekites and the Canaanites came down from the hill country, and they defeated the Israelites and chased them as far as the town of Hormah. So we see the Israelites just messing up over and over again now, and we're going to see this pattern continue. God said, "Don't go." You were supposed to go. You didn't want to go, so don't go. And they decided to go, and then they got defeated in their first battle that gets taken place. Now let's jump back to Nephilim. That term is only used twice in Genesis, I believe, chapter 6, and in here, and nobody really knows who they are. The spies say they are giants, and so you ask yourself, where are these giants coming from, and how big is a giant? We know that Goliath was 7 foot something. I mean, that's big. It's a big giant, but not sure what they're talking about, and nobody really knows. And there's made 3 major theories, and all 3 of them have biblical evidence that it could possibly be true. One, and this seems like it's the most far-fetched, out of this world type of answer, but has the most scriptural support, is that the Nephilim are fallen angels from heaven. When God kicked Satan and his buddies out of heaven, the Nephilim came down and married earth women from the earth, and they had children, and the offspring of those children were giants. They were special. In fact, here is kind of an artist's rendering of what that would look like. Now, of course, we're not sure that that's the case, that they were that big. We don't know. According to the information that we have, but that's one answer to who the Nephilim are. A second one is that they are from the line of Seth. They're called Sethites, which would have been Cain and Abel's youngest brother. The theory is that the Sethites were godly men, but they married ungodly women, Canaanites, and out of that came these giants. And again, it's a common theory, and there's some scriptural references that could be the case, but we're just not sure. The third one, and it's probably the least accepted, but it is possibility, is that the Nephilim refers to royalty, or dynastic clans, that these were the leaders of great tribes. They were rulers of great tribes. They are great people. They are giants in their families, type of deal. So not necessarily giants as in stature, but giant as in power and dynasty. Again, it's another possibility, but it's the least amount of scriptural basis. To be honest, that they were fallen angels probably has the most scriptural references and what was believed by the early church fathers. And when I say the early church fathers, I'm talking about 1,000 years after Jesus. So I mean, back with the Jewish culture, this is what they believed. And here I don't know the answer. I don't know which is the best, but here's what I do know, is that knowing what they are or where they came from is not a matter of salvation. It does not mean that the Bible's true or untrue. It doesn't matter to our eternity. It doesn't matter. It's something that we don't know, and we won't know probably until we get to heaven. But it's one of those big questions that come from the Bible. So maybe you learned something, maybe you didn't. Hope you have a great day.